From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop Dibiase, the primetime capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Just over there retweeting all my other Twitters and things like that. So pretty much it is what it is. It is time for the show. And this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. And I'm your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It is Wednesday, the 11th of October. So let's get into it. Rangers, first team to get to the ALCS after sweeping the Orioles, winning in a 7-1 blowout. So once again, Corey Seager leads a team to the ALCS. You know, he did this with the Dodgers a few times. It was a very, very common when he was with the Dodgers as well, too. So he brought his winning ways to Texas and has helped his team get to the ALCS fairly easily as well, too. This team right now is 5-0. And you know what? The craziest thing about this situation is this team had only one game where they gave up more than one run in this series. And that's just absolutely amazing, in my opinion. You have a team that, really played well most of the year. And then the last 2 months of the season, they kind of ran into a bump in the road, but they were holding off two different teams. And at one point, they were holding off three teams. So the Texas Rangers might have the best story going into the next round because this team really was supposed to win the West, and they wound up just having a bad little break there. And then what happened was you had Seattle jump in the first for a bit. Houston jumped in the first. And then when we got to the final weekend, the Rangers were actually the first place team and really were the first team to actually clinch for the playoffs as well, too, in the West. So that is significant. And this team was able to take that momentum into the next series against the very, at this point in time, they were a team that was pretty much out of their element by the point that by the time you got to them, that was the Rays. And then you get the upstart Orioles. Orioles were a team, I said all year long, they're a year too early. They're 2 years too early. I had them as a dark horse team to be one of these wild card teams this year. They overachieved and found themselves as the number one team in the American League. So they were able to get this bye, but that bye actually did the worst possible thing to them. It made them too lackadaisical going into the series. And guess what? The team had been swept in almost 18 months in a regular series. They got swept in the first playoff series that they've been in 6 years. That's absolutely just dumbfounding. You know what I mean? And I just truly do feel that what happens here is that we have a team in the Orioles that have something good here. They have something great here, but they're going to have to figure out how to win in October. And I know it's early, but this team is going to be around for a while. And it does not matter that, you're young and you haven't been to the playoffs and you had a few days off and the Rangers were hot. They were expected to be good in the series. It didn't matter the result of the series. They were supposed to be good in the series, and the Orioles were never good in the series. They were absolutely awful. Let's keep it real. And it goes back to them not having an ace pitcher, them not having a real good top three in that pitching rotation. They were a team that had such great chemistry and they had really good hitters that they were able to mask that for long. And it did not work out in the time where it can get exposed, and that's in October. And this is exactly what happened to the Orioles. The Orioles should be proud of the results that they had this season, but this isn't the first time they won 100 games in a season, okay? And this is a team that had a tradition of being one of the more dominant teams in the MLB for a decade straight. So the Orioles have returned back to relevancy, and they'll get the pass this year. But next year, if they come out and they do the same thing, and then this happens again, then we know that this team is just not one of those teams that can go to the next level. I know it's early in the process, but if it just really feels like they missed a golden opportunity to really have an amazing season, because you don't know if this team is going to be that good next season, because you got the Red Sox, the Yankees coming back, and you got the Blue Jays coming back. You got the Rays coming back. Once again, the East will be the toughest division in all of baseball, even though they had one of the worst playoffs that a baseball division could ever have. The division went 0-7. That's absolutely awful. They had 3 teams in there and wind up going 0-7. That's just unbelievable in a sense. You know what I mean? So pretty much with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be this. That's going to be the ALDS